Hey. Okay, so I got a lot of stuff going on today. And I wrote down lots of notes because I'm trying to be fast about it. Y'all know I'm going to ramble. Anyway, let's see. So I've just been listening to Trent Shelton's. I really like his work. I really like his motivation. I really like that he makes you think about things before you do them and or after you've done it, and like to restore yourself. So what, you've fallen down and you've gotten back up. And so I just listened to him saying like loyalty is rare. Really excited. I think I probably listened to it about 15 times for a couple of reasons. One, in my flesh, I was absolutely just adorned by it. Like, yes. He said loyalty is rare and jealousy is real. He actually said it backwards. Jealousy is real, but loyalty is rare, which is so true. He also talked about how people are fake, and that's like kind of normal in this day and age, but finding people that are loyal and real and authentic is really rare in this day and age. And so I just had some things to say about it. I put the link down in there in case you haven't seen it. I think I did. So I probably did it wrong. If not, it's Trent Shelton, and it's on loyalty. And so take a look at it. It's really nice, but I've got to give my Christian view as well because it's just who I am, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's like bashing or saying, hey, it's got to be done my way. It's just in the flesh, it absolutely fits. And I definitely was digging it. And so I wrote a few notes, and it says, the loyalty is rare and jealousy is real. And a lot of us are comforters, and so we go out and we help people, and we probably help people more than we should. We give them a little bit more of ourselves than we sometimes give our own selves. I know for me, I have a habit of being that nurturer, and that's just something that I grew up with. It's not a man thing. It's not a I want to have friends thing. It's not anything about that. It all stems down to my childhood and being the one who was left, and finding that helping people and being the solution bearer and the savior was always the thing that was going to help me. And so some of us have comforting spirits, and that's just who we are, and we need to learn boundaries and limitations. And we're there for other people, but then when we need other people, they're not really there for us. And so some of that is complimentary, and some of that is just plain bogus, like they don't have time for us, or they're not equally as grateful and loyal to us as we are to them. For instance, here's one that just wasn't that way. For my grandmother, she used to do everything for my siblings and really didn't do anything for me. But I could say, hey, can you give me $1,000 for this tow truck and start this business? And she'd go, okay, because she kind of believed in me. But if I came to her and said, hey, I'm struggling with my bill, I need to do this, Granny, can you help me pay my rent? She'd look at me like I was a little foolish and go, no. But then my sister could come right behind her like 2 days later and say, Granny, can you help me with my bill? And she'd say, yeah. What? And then my brother could do the same thing. And my brother, he was in his addiction. And so I would get really frustrated. Like, why are you helping them? Like, my sister just needs to try a little harder. And my brother, really? And then my other sister, in her recovery now, she used to be in her addiction. And she kind of, I got to help her. And I'll be like, is it because I got a different father? Like, what's going on that you treat me different? So I pulled her to the side, and she said, well, it's because you're a little bit more independent and you're always going to figure out a way. True that. But in my heart, that's not what it felt like. I also had a time when I helped everybody else, and when I needed a place to stay, I said, hey, can me and my kids lounge on your couch for a month or so, just so we can get on our feet and find a place. Anybody who knows me, I'm very independent, residual, and I'm going to work away. I was told no. My heart was crushed. So things like that. And we have friends that do the same exact thing, where they're willing to invade our privacy, but they're not willing to let us invade theirs. And some of us don't invade our friends' privacy because, well, it's different. And so then you learn the difference between who's real and who's not. And so he also said, as he was talking, it really was just gearing to people are out for themselves, and so they look at themselves, and that's, they're not really thinking about, in this day and age, people have conformed to this world like it ain't nobody's business. And so they're cutthroat. And I remember being younger, they would say, oh, Caucasians are a little bit more cutthroat, and black people, they kind of stick together, and Hispanics, every other ethnicity kind of sticks together, and like Caucasians have that mentality because of that business thing or whatever. And it was just like strange and foreign. You would hear some stigmas going out there with ethnicities. And as I started to grow, I started realizing that ain't true. And so I started realizing that, especially in my own culture, that black people will tear you down, and so they'll pull you down like a barrel of crabs. Not wanting you to get up, and not wanting you to get up on your feet and stuff, and then having the mentality that, they gotta stay. It's hot up in here and the air is on. They gotta stay up with the Joneses, and make sure that they one step above you, and if they not, they better look the part, and so I totally got that. And I got that from him because I was like, man, I understand that, and people will forsake you, friends, families, partners, business partners, life partners, whatever, people that you've helped along the way. I got screamed at once by family members that told me you wasn't there for me, and not knowing my own limitations. But at the same token, the things that I have done, they don't remember that, but that's okay. I love them anyway. And so people will take you down, and they will talk you down. They will talk bad about you. He talked about how they'll talk about you behind your back, smile in your face. Woo, do I know that oh so well. I got family that just did that like a few weeks ago. Hurt me to the core, because you're smiling in my face and going around saying, yeah, okay, but when I get off the phone, you're having a whole new conversation about something. It just really hurt me to the core, because you could have stepped to me and asked me some questions and got it from the horse's mouth. And anybody that knows me, I'm gonna talk. And so I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, what I said, how it goes, what it's not, what it is, what it is and what it's not. And so I was really offended. It really hurt my feelings, but get out of my feelings, and he talked about they'll lie on you for their benefit and swear up and down it wasn't them. Okay, so I was in a moment of my feelings. Okay, and then talk about how much of a good person they are. I had that going on too. Oh, I'm such a good person. Why do you think I'm such a bad person? Well, because you keep doing stuff to me, and you keep lying behind my back. Like, at a time, you was like even denying me. Okay, so that's a whole nother sermon, whatever. But nevertheless, he said when loyalty isn't returned, that bridge is burned. True. And so you learn that you have to distance yourself and treat people different. You might serve them with a long handle spoon, I don't want to have nothing to do. Or you might just cut off all ties and just go, this is how I can handle you, because I've seen it. For me, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of burn me again. I'm going to watch what I'm doing, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to see, is this just your character? Is this just who you are? Or is this who you have in a situation? Or is this just how you was raised and you don't know no better? So I got to think differently and pray for you differently. So I'm trying to go fast. So when he said when loyalty is in return, that bridge is buried, I agree. No one should be used and abused, and nobody should be used as a rag doll. If you always have to question people's loyalty, he mentioned that. If you always have to question their loyalty, then it's really about what they're giving to you. Yeah, sometimes people are feeling insecure, or they're bringing baggage from their last relationships. But if they're proving it to be true, okay, so they aren't very loyal. And so some of us that are comforters, we're more loyal to them, thinking, hey, let me model and show by example. Especially if you're a Christian, you're like, you know what, let me model by example. Or especially if you're trying to be that girl to say, he's been broken, he's hurt, and so I'm gonna role model to him the way it looks. And then you end up getting broken, and then you end up suffering, and then you end up acting the way that you don't normally act, because you're trying to use tools to prevent yourself from being hurt from that significant other, whether it's a he or she. Okay, so nevertheless, so if you always have to question the loyalty, you probably should rethink about that. In our flesh, in our flesh, I say, let them kick rocks while you walk the other way. He's right. It all starts with you. But as a Christian, I got to get my Christian piece on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy what he say. Take it to your flesh heart. Trust me on this. But if you're a Christian and you got to balance this thing, you got to balance your flesh and you got to balance your spirit. You got to make sure that you protect yourself, but not doing it in such a way that kind of rises above. He points, his points remind me that we need to keep our flesh intact. But the scripture says, and I'm just going to turn to it really fast, in 1 Peter 3:9, it says, I had it, do not reply evil with evil or insult with insult, but with blessings, because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. And I'm going to stop right there because there's a little bit more that's like really nice, but just 1 Peter 3:8, and it's basically just letting us know that it's important to keep harmony. It's important to keep peace, and it's not cool to have an eye for an eye. You did me dirty, so I'll do you dirty. So I don't want you to misinterpret it. What he's saying, to say, look, I get the opportunity to do you dirty too. And so I'm hoping I'm doing his thing justice, and hoping that nobody's gonna clap back thinking that I'm not, because I really love me Trent, because I like what he has to say and it encourages me along the way. But I had to give my Christian, because I really, really liked it, but I wanted some of the Christians that are struggling with it not to disregard what he says, like, oh, he just talking foul. That's not what I wanted them to do. So I wanted to make sure that they knew, yeah, you know how to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your heart. This is the host, the body that our soul lives in. We need to protect it, and we get our feelings hurt, and we need to gird up ourselves and gird our spirit, man, so that our feelings won't be all hurt and we won't get lost in it. But if you got more flesh than you got more spirit, this is gonna be a struggle. So it also reminds me of Proverbs 18:21. 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Man, that's pretty deep. I always I used to tell my significant other, be careful about the words you say. But sometimes he'd say, I'm not going to accept that because you're going to speak that right into existence. Look, it is what it is. If it's true, embrace that. Get over that. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But if it's not, oh well. Be careful about what you say about yourself and how you embrace yourself and what you say about others. Sometimes you get really ticked off and you got some words to say. I do it all the time and have to repent. Like Paul said, I die daily. It also reminded me of Proverbs 13:3. And 13:3 said, he who guards his lips guards his life, but he who speaks rashly will come to ruin. I had to go into the annotated for this and really talk about what the note said. You've not mastered self-control if you don't control what you say. Words can cut and destroy. James recognized this in James 3:5. The tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boast. If you want self-control, begin with your tongue. Stop and think before you react, speak. And if you can control this small but powerful member, you can control the rest of your body. I think that's pretty awesome. James is one of my favorite books too, for that simple reason. It reprimands you and makes you have to really pay attention to what you're doing in life, and it teaches you to go, man, I'm not really living right. Nevertheless, let me keep moving on because I'm having really good timing right now. So I wanted us to remember that God is our refuge and our trust should be in him. he's really not talking about this eye for eye. He's really not saying, look, loyalty is rare and jealousy is real. And so since that is true, you know, you got to look out for yourself. So what up? That's not what he's saying, because he's not telling you to do the same as they're doing. He's just telling you to be careful about that. Be careful about the friends that you choose. Be careful about the family that you call friends. Family is family. But we got families that are like, that's my best friend. But we also got family that's like, that's my worst. Okay. Anyway, you just pray for them, and you pray for yourself, because you pray about how you speak on them. Because I was so mad a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I ain't got no more family. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm this. I'm that. If I would have lost all my family, if I would have lost the family members that I'm mad at still, I'm dealing with that, I wouldn't have been able to, people are being nosy. I wouldn't have been able to keep loving them. You know, I would be hurt. I would be broken. I've been through that with some family where I didn't really want to talk to them. And luckily, I started talking to them. And right after I talked to them, they passed away. So just for an example, I'm going to go back into this a little bit. But trying to figure out which one I want to say first, because I put it on here both ways. I'm gonna tell you about my friend, right? But yeah, so let me tell you about my friend. So my friend told me, you know, I had a spiritual encounter a while ago, and I heard that this particular man was my husband. I didn't tell my best friend. You know, I got a few people that I call best friends. And I didn't particularly tell her, dang, I think I'm running out of time. I might have to do part 2. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't particularly tell her what was going on, or who, you know, what the Lord told me about him, because I really was focused on somewhere else. This thing, I think, is about to go off in 40 seconds. So, you know what? I'm going to do part 2. Because I'd feel more comfortable. Plus my clothes is dried in the dryer. So let me upload this one. All right, peace.